right, guys, what's going on? Big Dog Brett, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for tuning in. Do me a favor, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, all of that wonderful stuff. You know, all of the same stuff every other YouTube we get our fix off of. So if you want to help me out, it's over there somewhere. You'll find it, I'm sure. All right, guys, so first things first, let's shout out to the faithful here. Let's go ahead and look at who we got in the channel. Number one for today was Smoking Bulldog. What's going on, buddy? Welcome to the channel. Thanks for being first in the stream. And then we got Greg, Mad Dog 51, Dwayne RTR here as usual, along with Bartholomew, Bob, E-I-E-I-O, Sarah Crane. Let's not leave you out. You're always around. Mike Taylor, how's it going, buddy? Atypical Gump is in the comment section. We appreciate you being here, sir. Donovan Thibodeau. Yes, I said Thibodeau. I actually know how to pronounce that name properly. And Mama said foosball is the devil. I love that name. Anthony D. Dennis Wilson, how's it going, buddy? And I think that pretty much covers everybody so far. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys being here. You guys make the channel. Without you guys, there's nothing for me to do other than just sit here and talk at a camera, which I would gladly do anyway. So one thing I do want to jump out here right out of the gate and just kind of say, you know, we've got 1 week left of college football. And it has been an exciting ride, especially for this channel. Hey, what's up, Brian Denny? Sorry, buddy, I don't know how I missed you, man. You're here so often. You're like just part of the natural decoration. You're always here, so we appreciate you being here, buddy. I'm sorry. It has been quite the ride, guys. This particular year has been really good for the channel. We were the channel. Oh, Bryson already hit me with a freaking super chat, man. I appreciate the super chat. I will definitely talk about Cade Mays in just 1 second. Thanks, Anthony D. I appreciate it, man. One of the things that I wanted to do is just tell you guys thank you, and I wanted to do it at the top of the show because that's when most of the really loyal people are in the channel right out of the gate. You guys are awesome. The channel has went from being monetized this time last year all the way to approaching 2,500 subscribers, and that is phenomenal. It has been so humbling to have you guys support the channel the way you do. All the thumbs up, all the shares, all the likes, all the subscribes, everything. It really means a lot, and I really appreciate it. I started out doing this channel, and I've certainly changed a lot as this channel has come along to be more fine-tuned and better at what I do, hopefully better for what I do for you guys. So I just can't say thank you enough. You guys are awesome. The channel has really come a long way, and it's still got a long way to go. I'm always going to try and get better for you guys. So thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. Okay, so first and foremost, let me get to Bryson Kearney. My thoughts on Cade Mays. Cade Mays is an outstanding athlete. I cannot blame that guy one bit for wanting to transfer. The guy that kind of recruited him and got him to come to UGA was Sam Pittman, and whenever Sam Pittman left, he went to wherever he went to. But that brought Matt Luke on board. Whenever Matt Luke came on board, Cade Mays had to make a decision of whether to use a kind of his final year transferring and trying to be able to play for his hometown crowd, which I don't blame him one bit. I mean, if I wasn't from Georgia, if I was from Georgia and I got a scholarship to go play at, say, I don't know, Oklahoma, just for whatever name for reason, and I had an opportunity to go play for those guys, and I thought that they might be a national title contender. And then my last year, the guy that I had developed a relationship with, the guy that had coached me all along, he ends up leaving the program. And I have an opportunity to come back home and play. I would probably do that as well. It's gonna gain him a lot of favoritism there, especially in his hometown crowd. They're gonna welcome him home in open arms. It's likely he'll get an immediate transfer. So, hey man, I don't hold that against that guy one bit. Hats off, best of the world to him. We could use the guy, but he's not the only piece of our puzzle. Okay, so let's see. BVD didn't like Cade's attitude. I know nothing about him really. I don't know much about the guy either, but BVD is really in tune with what's going on with that school, so if he doesn't like Cade's attitude, he's probably got a pretty solid reason for that. Mays just suing to get immediate transfer. Who knows? It's a game. Those guys play it. They play it the way they have to. I'm not mad at them a bit. Hey, I like that new avatar you got, Killer Mom. That's pretty good. $3 million seems like a lot for a pinky finger. Well, is what it is. Somebody asked about Zach Evans. So, Zach Evans, I guess, originally signed a letter of intent. There's been almost no information from the University of Georgia on this, so pretty much everything that you hear is going to be speculation. So, Zach Evans jumps into the program with a letter of intent, and then it's almost like he wasn't allowed to announce by the school, like the school was still making up their mind on whether or not they wanted to have him. And once they decided, we don't want you, he had to go somewhere else. Cade Mays' dad is suing UGA. I don't doubt it. He better have an outstanding lawyer, because I can promise you a university the size of UGA, a university the size of Alabama or Clemson or Notre Dame, they're going to have a school bus full of lawyers. So whoever his dad hires better be incredibly good. Evans sounded like a prima donna. I don't know if LSU should take him. I think you're probably better off to say I don't think LSU is going to take him. You think he got hurt in a chair? What? What are you talking about, Dwayne? Yeah, I don't think LSU is going after him anymore. The word around the campfire is that he's probably going to end up with Jimbo Fisher over at Texas A&M. So, I mean, and it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Jimbo Fisher has a history and a track record of kind of dealing with talented athletes that seem to have behavioral issues and seems to be able to do okay with them. So that's probably a better fit for everybody. Yeah, Cade Mays is from Knoxville. That is correct. When I said hometown, I was referring to Tennessee. Will Zach Evans end up in Aggie land? Maybe. We'll see. Florida doesn't have to worry about Felipe Franks anymore. Hate that he got hurt, but he was a terrible quarterback. Something about a folding chair. I'm not 100% sure about that. But let me jump into this. Cade Mays injury. Cade Mays what? Cade Mays' father is suing Georgia. He says his pinky was severed at a recruiting event. This came out 48 minutes ago. This is in the Knoxville News or Knox News. Let me see what this is. He is suing the University of Georgia after his right pinky finger got caught in a folding chair and was severed during a 2017 recruiting trip. 2017 recruiting trip. So it's bad enough that you want to sue the university, but it wasn't bad enough that you didn't want to play for them. I'm confused. Court documents obtained by Knox News state that Kevin Mays' finger shot across the floor. Okay. After it was severed before it was retrieved by an assistant coach and put on ice. Cade Mays is suing the university's athletic association and board of regents, among other parties. The lawsuit was filed on December 5th in the state court of Clark County, Georgia. Hold on one second here. Hang on. I'm checking on something here. Let's see. Played in all 14 games, starting in 11. Saw playing time at every OL position. Started 6 games at right guard, 2 at right tackle, 2 at left guard, and the season finale Sugar Bowl at left tackle. Played extensively at center in the Missouri game. Co-winner of the Charlie Tripp Award for versatility, given at the team's post-season award. The lawsuit was filed on December 5th. Hey, Bryson, man, I appreciate that other super chat, man. Thoughts on Andrew Ray, the insider of UGA football? I don't know much about that guy. I'll have to look into it, man. But give me just a second. I'll look that up. I'm still digging through this Cade Mays thing. So help me out here. The Sugar Bowl was in 2020. He filed the lawsuit on December 5th for an incident that happened in 2017. And he got an award, and he played in the Sugar Bowl. I'm confused. I want my millions of dollars, but I'm going to play in the Sugar Bowl. Bruh. It is unknown. Yeah, I'm sure he'll sue. What happened on the recruiting visit? Hold on. I think I found it. Cade Mays and his wife, Melinda, attended a recruiting dinner with their son and other prospects at the club level inside Georgia Sanford Stadium. Cade Mays' assigned seat was just in front of a support column, and when he tried to get up from his chair, the column prevented the chair from moving backwards, according to the lawsuit. The chair folded up, and Mays' finger got caught in the chair's hinge and was cut off. Sam Pittman, who was Georgia's offensive line, picked up the severed finger from the floor before it was put on ice, according to the lawsuit. Oh my goodness. Let me close some of this stuff out, man. It's probably because of something I'm doing. Is it better now? Oh man, that's messed up, bud. He said after he was awarded the $3 million, he gave his lawyer a high 4. That is cold-blooded, man. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to find where the what's the word I'm looking for here? The negligence. Where does the negligence come into play? How did that happen? I don't understand that. I mean, he's probably not the only person to have ever sat in that chair. Is it possible that he's the only person that has cut his finger off? I would think so. Andrew Ray. I'm trying to look this guy up. Andrew Ray inside of UGA football. Is that who we're talking about? Because I can't really find anything on this guy, Bryson. You're going to have to help me out, man. What's going on, Austin? I don't know how that's UGA's fault, but Anthony D. He said, how can you sue somebody else for being a dummy? On Twitter. Let me see here real quick. I want to pull this up on Twitter for Bryson. Let me see what he's talking about. Andrew Ray. I'm just going to type in Andrew Ray. There's 2 of them. There's an Andrew Ray UGA, and it looks like an Andrew Ray 1. It says he's got 5,100 followers, and he's following 4,100 people. So my 3 SEC teams to watch out for in 2020: Auburn, Tennessee, and Ole Miss. I've never seen this guy, Bryson. I'll have to look into it a little bit more. So anyway, I'll check it out, man. Thanks for the heads up, though. Oh, man. It's been a long day. Who are the backup quarterbacks for UGA? Also, everyone assumes UGA's offense will be different. How does Kirby feel about the offense and if the offense should change? So there's been a lot of speculation about whether or not UGA should change its offense, and a lot of people it's a resounding yes. And after talking with some of the other people kind of around the program, what I've been able to put together is that they are in the process of changing the program. They really don't like where the program's at. I think this may have been a deciding factor as to why Jake Fromm went pro. I think that if they came in and said, hey, look, we know you've been running this program here for the past couple of years. We're going to change it again. And he was like, that has a strong likelihood of making me look even worse. So I'm going to dip. So, yeah. Now, for those of you who so who is the transfer QB we were looking at? I'll get into that guy here in a minute. What I am going to do real quick is I'm going to kind of go over where we stand now with the recruiting rankings. There's a couple of different quarterbacks they're looking at. I'll go into that in a second. But if you go back, I want to go back before I talk about the recruiters. Talk about Jake Fromm's. Hey, what's up, VT Dub? And by the way, guys, if you guys have something that you want to point out to me, I got chat scrolling by. I've got different articles and stuff up, and I'm looking at the stream and whatnot. If you guys have something that you want to gain my attention on, make sure that you put my name over here in the chat because it highlights it for me. It's easy for me to just glance at it and see. I can't possibly read all this stuff and cover everything I want to cover for you guys at the same time. So if you got something you really want to grab my attention, you can throw it in a super chat or you can highlight it to me. Either one works. So Jake Fromm, his tweet, man, was like crazy long. He took a picture and put it on Twitter because it only held so many characters, but it said, I would like to offer my sincerest thank you to the University of Georgia for giving me the privilege of playing football between the hedges of Sanford Stadium. Thank you for Coach Smart who always believed in me and who at the last 3 years has helped me grow into the grow that wide-eyed, scared 18-year-old kid who got handed the ball in at South Bend into a better man. And secondly, a better football player. Thank you to all of the coaches and teammates who, and this goes on for like a week. And then he gets over to the second part and it says, I have decided that it's time for me to take on the next challenge of my life and pursue my lifelong dream of playing in the NFL. Okay, that's basically how he announced that he was going. Yeah, it's crazy long. I will say that, hats off to the guy who says I will forever be a dog at heart, and I love each of you in Christ. And then he quotes Romans 8:28. So that was really a long, really long kind of goodbye letter, I guess. And then Romans 8:28, it says. And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God and to those who are called according to his purpose. And it says, in everything I give thanks, both good and bad, basically. Just his way of saying, I think I'm doing what God's plan is. Good for him. Wish him the best of luck. Thank you for everything you've done. I would say, a lot of people are saying, hey, do you think Jake Fromm should have came back? If Jake Fromm would have came back, I think we would have had the same results we had this year. I don't think he really would have been able to progress because he regressed. And I think if he continued to regress the way he regressed, I don't think he'd be able to get into the NFL at all. So I think it was probably a good time for him to go. Georgia is going to have to update its way of playing football. It's going to have to absolutely evolve. Alabama had to evolve. LSU had to evolve. And I think this is all because Clemson kind of changed the game. I just think it's a big factor. Reasonable Gump says Clay Travis is confident Jake Fromm will go in the first round. I'm rather unconvinced of that. He very well may. And the reason behind that is because he is outstanding at reading a defense. And he will be surrounded by much better receivers than what he has now. They're obviously better. They're in the NFL. These guys are still in college. I mean, but Jake Fromm is always, in my opinion, unless something changes, and it very well may, he do I want to negotiate Jake Fromm's rookie contract? I might be able to. I might, but I doubt they'll let me do it. He's always going to be one of those quarterbacks that's able to utilize the talent around him, but he won't be able to be the quarterback who is going to develop himself and also develop the talent around him, at least in my opinion. Time to move on from Fromm. Not a bad college QB, but like I think he's already hit his ceiling too. So let's let me go back over here real quick. There are several quarterbacks that they think could come to UGA. Jamie Newman in Wake Forest, he's in the portal. KJ Costello from Stanford. Anthony Brown from Boston College. Derek King. This is kind of the one that I've heard the most on, Derek King. Nobody really knows, but he's one of only 3 quarterbacks in FBS history to throw for 35 touchdowns and rush for 13 in a single season. So, I mean, he really is a dual-threat quarterback. Is that a good fit for Georgia? We don't know. Georgia's in a transitional period, I guess, and we could make use of a guy like that that's got some feet. Fromm has no feet. Fromm has concrete blocks for feet, and that was one of the things that kind of hurt him. Donovan Thibodeau says Fromm, he'll never elevate the team. The team only elevated him, and that's possible. That's likely to be true. Also, Jet Duffy from Texas Tech. Kind of a long shot here. He's a good quarterback, but I don't know if he's going to be what UGA needs. It's also very possible that Carson Beck could come in and run the offense. It's also very possible that DeJuan Mathis could be cleared and he could come in and run the offense. I would like to think that DeJuan Mathis would be the front runner because even though he's been injured, he has been working on the practice squad, even though he hasn't been taking hits, which is fine. But he's been cleared to quote-unquote do more for quite some time. Does that mean he's cleared for contact? Probably not quite yet. I think that's one of those things they really want to play on the safe side of the ball and make sure he's good to go. But at the end of the day, I would love to see DeJuan Mathis, for a number of reasons, get that job. I would love to see any of these. I would love to see any talented quarterback transfer from another school and come into UGA, one who's got some college experience that's done well. So we'll be able to see. Brian Denny says, I'll be honest, I think these other UGA fans wanting Kirby fired is dumb. Yes, he's made very dumb mistakes, but he's only been a coach for 4 years. He's still learning. Here's my thing about Kirby Smart, and this absolutely rubs me raw. If you are a Georgia, and I'm talking directly to Georgia fans, if you are a Georgia fan and you want Kirby Smart fired, you're going to have to come up with something incredible to validate that statement, because I have never seen a first-time head coach take his team to a national championship berth, win a college football playoff game, win the East 3 years in a row, and have a number 1 recruiting class in the nation and a number 2 and a number 3 recruiting class. There's no coach out there that's ever happened. This is as good as you can possibly get, short of hiring Dabo Swinney or Nick Saban. So stop with the nonsense. If you want to fire Kirby, you need to sit down and assess a lot of things. Take your emotions off and sit down and look at the actual stats. Are there problems with the team? Yes, but this is still by far than you can expect. Even tenured veteran coaches can't do what Kirby Smart is doing. You have to give him time. I think it was like go look at Nick Saban's career when he first started as a head coach. It is nowhere near as good as what Kirby Smart's doing. So sit down. Oh, man. Man, listen, Kirby Smart has got it under control. He's got quality. He's got absolutely quality talent coming in the door. He is hiring quality coaches. He is winning football games. I mean, what's his average? Like 10 or 11 wins a season? Name one coach that's done that their first 3-4 years in college football. Newsflash, it doesn't exist. So get off that train, man. Yeah, it took Dabo 9 years. Exactly. It takes time, man. It takes time. Foam finger guy, that's sick. What? Yeah, you may take Alabama's last 3 seasons over Georgia, and that's fine. But would you trade the first 3 seasons with Nick Saban at the helm versus Kirby Smart? So Kirby Smart hasn't had the time and grade that Nick Saban has. Who knows what Kirby Smart can do if we give him enough time? When I was watching Georgia this year, I knew it simply wasn't. Yeah, and that's going to happen. But here's the thing. Even in a year where we regressed, that was still a really solid year. There's, what is it? How many teams is there in college football? 137 or 132 or something like that? That's like 100. There's at least 125 other teams that are begging to be Georgia. There's other teams. There's the only team in the SEC, the only 2 teams right now in the SEC that don't wish they were Georgia is Alabama and LSU. That's it. And there's no other team other than Clemson and Ohio State that don't wish they were Georgia. I guarantee you Oklahoma right now wishes it was Georgia. I know Oklahoma fans are going to jump down in the comment section. But if you look at UGA's strength of schedule, if you look at UGA lines up at the end of the year every year, and if we win our division championship, we're going to the playoffs. That ain't going to happen for the Big Ten for a while. And if you look at where Georgia's been recruiting at, where we're ending in our recruiting, Oklahoma wishes they could be up there too. So almost every team would rather be Georgia. Once Georgia finds a quarterback that is as good as some of these other teams have signed, and we can keep them, then Georgia will absolutely just roll over anybody. The defense is there. The defense is incredible. Reasonable Gump says he wasn't comparing Saban to Kirby. I was talking about Iceberg. Oh, yeah. Okay. I got you. Yeah. Okay, so now that we've kind of talked on that for a second, let me check on stream health. Looks pretty good. So let's look at the recruits that UGA has right now, and I'm going to roll through these guys quick because I know there's not everybody in here is Georgia fans, and I don't want to drag this through. Dennis Wilson, type. That's one of the best things. That's one of the best things that Uncle Lou has ever come up with. So currently enrolled, Kendall Milton, 4-star running back, nearly a 5-star. I don't understand how he's not a 5-star because he's a .98. I mean, good night. That's up there, dude. Major Burns, safety. Carson Beck, quarterback. Warren Brinson, defensive tackle. Justin Robinson, wide receiver. Kylie Ringo, 5-star cornerback. Darnell Washington, 5-star athlete. Usually plays tight end. Mikael Sherman, 5-star offensive linebacker. Tate Ratledge, offensive tackle. Marcus Rosemary, wide receiver, 4-star. Jermaine Burton, 4-star wide receiver. Arian Smith, 4-star wide receiver. Jalen Carton, 4-star defensive tackle. Jalen Kimber, 4-star cornerback. Chad Long, 4-star offensive tackle. Outside. OT, good Lord, I can't talk. Nazir Stackhouse, defensive tackle. Austin Blake, offensive tackle. Devon Whitlock, offensive tackle. Jared Zekel, 3-star kicker. Hard commits. Broderick Jones. Uncle Lou is a closet Sooner fan. Yeah, right. Broderick Jones is a hard commit, 5-star offensive tackle. Cedric Van Pran, OC, 6'4", 305. a 4-star, and then we've got a transfer in Austin Kirksey. He's a 3-star pro-style quarterback. We've also got DeJuan Mathis and Stetson Bennett, which I think this is his last year because I think he was a transfer back. I'm not exactly sure. Can't keep with all that. No phone calls tonight. It hasn't rang, my friend. Oh, I probably don't have the number up. That's my fault, dude. Sorry. Give me 1 second here. Let me go to studio mode. And then this is what's running. This is the preview. The other day, man, I had to plow through some stuff, and I ended up taking a bunch of stuff down. I had some issues. Here we go. So let me do this. Copy. Okay. Back to the main screen. Here we go. Oop. I'm almost there, guys. Hang tight. Bring to the top. Order. Move to the top. Boom. And then I can move it down here. I can move this up. Move this. So this is really going to change the way some of this stuff looks, but it'll be okay. Maybe. Oh, man. I'm just going to do it like this. I'll just move everything up. Now, I did a show the other night, and I was having some issues with OBS, so I had to change some stuff around to make it fit the screen the way it was supposed to, and just to be able to get the live show going on time. And I ended up just having to just basically take a hatchet to the whole thing to try and make it work. So, all right, so let's transition. There we go. Okay. There's that. Okay. Hopefully that will suffice for now. I've got to get in here and redo pretty much everything with OBS and fix it anyway. So, all right, now I just got to get the chat page back up again. And appreciate the super chat, sir. Your generosity is incredible. Thank you so much. Darnell Washington is going to be a beast, so feel free. Grad transfer. Hey, what's up, Sergeant AR? So if you want to call in and talk to Big Dog, or if you got something that you want to discuss or just put out there, call the number. It's 770-765-2428. Feel free to call in. And also, while you guys are on here, do me a favor, hit the like, subscribe, share, thumbs up, post it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twittergram, Face Space, whatever you got. Works good for me. Falcons, let's put up a banner for a choking hazard. But as of right now, UGA is ranked number 3 in national recruiting, and that is even after losing, I won't say losing, I'll say declining Zach Evans. How you doing, Beth? Who's going to pick Burrow? I have no idea. And I'll tell you guys, just like I tell everybody else, very, very rarely will I keep up with a player after they go pro. I watch them a little bit, but then after that, I kind of lose interest. Once they go pro, I'm kind of done. I hate all these LSU defensive guys. They've gotten healthy, better, and more talent everywhere, and they are peaking at the right time. This is something that Clemson seems to do very well every year, especially when they're making these runs at the national championship. Watching the national championship, those guys seem to peak at the end of the year, which is awesome. That kind of seems to be what you need to do. And it looks like LSU is peaking now, and it also kind of looks like Clemson's starting to do the same thing. So it's going to be interesting to see how that game goes. Mama said foosball is the devil. I'm just going to call you Mama Said. Mama said, hey, Brett, do you know Carolina Jackpot? I do not know him, but I have watched his channel a few times. He's pretty funny. Falcons could use Jake, and he will be there in the late rounds. Again, I don't know that, guys. See, the thing about Jake Fromm that makes him so good is that he's able to read a defense, and he does it very well. And if you look at it from that standpoint, if you don't look at it as a Georgia fan, if you watch him as an analytical quarterback, he's very talented. So it's possible he could go in the second round. I don't think he'll go in the first, though. Maybe the third. Any word on the Georgia QB that had brain surgery last summer? His name is DeJuan Mathis. DeJuan Mathis has been cleared to do more. He has played on the practice teams, practice squads. He has not taken and is not allowed to take any contact. But hard to say. He may play, he may not. We don't know. How you doing, Ben? But if Georgia, yeah, I agree with you, Dwayne. They have an it factor, whatever it is. So if we look at Georgia's recruiting and we look at the prospects who they have out there, the phone's not ringing, bro. Bryson, I promise you the phone's not ringing, man. I got it in my hand right here, dude. Let me try something real quick before you try calling again. All right, so I got a number here. Let me try calling it. Hey, this is Big Dog Brett.
Hey, man, what's up?
What's going on, buddy? What's your name?
Donovan Thibodeau.
Hey, what's going on, Donovan?
Hey, man, I sent you a message a while back to kind of touch on playoff expansion.
Yeah.
Whether you're for it or against it. I'm really not too for it.
Okay.
Playing in the SEC. It's just my opinion.
So
What do you think about that?
there's arguments that can be made both ways as far as expanding the playoffs. I think I guess really the only way to make these players want to play in these bowl games is to kind of go that route. Otherwise, you're going to see fallout every year from players not wanting to play in the Sugar Bowl or the Citrus Bowl, especially if they're looking at going pro. Because I understand they could get hurt. To me, it's a pride point. You should want to play in the game no matter what. But that's just me.
Right.
But I think if you leave it at 4, you're going to have the problems that you've got now. I think that there definitely needs to be some type of college football playoff in place to make sure that we get it right, to get the right team in there. I got a call coming in from I'll call you back here in just a minute.
That's cool.
No, you're good. But as far as, yes, that's a cat in the background. As far as the going to like 8 teams or going to 16 or whatever, I think that you should go, if I had to pick, I'd say 8. And the reason I would say 8 is because you're going to end up with the 4 teams, the top 4 teams right out of the gate, which is going to be like an ACC team, an SEC team. You could take the Power 5 conferences and take the champion out of every single one of those. And then if there is a strong independent, you could take an independent, right? And then that leaves you 2 wild cards, so to speak. So then you could take, like a couple of years ago, we could have taken UCF, Notre Dame, and that would have been a wild card and an independent. And then you could have taken the SEC runner-up, which would have been Georgia, and you would have had a pretty solid college football playoff. So
Right.
when you do that, though, you have to if you go to an 8-team playoff, you're guaranteed to have at least every team play one more game per year. So instead of playing 14, you're playing 15. So when you play that 15th game, how is it going to impact the players? How tired are they going to be? It's tough to tell. But in my opinion,
Dilutes the regular season.
yeah, you start cutting into the regular season. So I mean, it's hard to say. I think there's no good solution. There's just not. But I definitely think having a 14 playoff is by far better than having a no playoff at all, where it's just, you know, their opinion. So, for instance, like this year, if you'd have sat down and you'd had to pick between Ohio State, Clemson, and LSU for the national championship, who do you pick? Well, you got to give consideration to Clemson because Clemson was a national championship last year. Okay? Well, then you got to give consideration to Ohio State because the quarterback they have there is breaking every record they have. Well, then you got to give consideration to LSU because LSU is out there just beating the brakes off of everybody, and they've got a Heisman Trophy caliber quarterback. So it's so hard to see. It's so hard to see. So hard to tell. Excuse me.
I got you.
So
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Feel free to call in anytime, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Yep. Have a good night.
All right. Good night. Yep.
Bye. All right. Looks like. Let's see. Bryson, I don't know if that was you that tried to call in or not, sir. I can't tell. All right, it's a New York number. So Bryson, if you tried to call in, man, just throw your area code in the chat here so I know which number is yours, man. The BCS was a badly flawed system. It just was, but it was the best they could come up with at the time. So. Let me see. Did you guys is Bryson still in the chat? All right.
Press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hey, Bryson, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, sorry about that, man. I'm not sure what was going on with that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, brother. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. All right. I was just calling to, well, one, I just want to address the super chat for the Andrew Ray thing. That was, I couldn't tell if you could tell, but I put it in quotation marks. It's this guy who's basically claiming to be this Georgia insider, which I don't think he really is. I don't think anybody actually thinks this. But he goes around things on and recruits, and how people the police are asking around, and people are just filing complaints. And he actually got into a Twitter, back and forth with Middleton's dad.
With Kendall Milton's dad?
Just yeah, Milton's dad. And he was basically calling the guy out. He was like, "You have no connection with UGA. I've already asked everybody." And he's just denying it. It's pretty hilarious. He's funny.
Oh man, it's always interesting whenever there's people out there that act like they have some kind of insider knowledge, or they know something everybody else doesn't know, and it always seems like those guys end up getting called out by somebody. It's like, yeah, they end up getting the attention, but not the way they wanted. everything that I do, that I read, I try to look at reputable sources. I try to look at people that's got a solid track record, and I try to find stuff that's legit before I just throw something out there. And I'll cite every source I've got, which is basically the same thing everybody else has, which is like access to 24/7 sports, Brandon Adams, Jeff Sentell, those guys. And honestly, about the insider that you can find is Jeff Sentell. That guy always seems to have incredible information. He makes predictions based off of people he's talked to. And he's talked to him. He hasn't speculated about what Brian Milton's dad said. He talked to Brian Milton's dad. If he says that, he did. That guy's always on point. But I'll check that guy out and see what's going on with him, because I'm always interested in people like that. So, well, hey man, I gotta go ahead.
I figured you'd find it hilarious.
I probably will, man. I greatly appreciate it, man.
Yeah, and the other thing I just want to talk about is, as far as UG, I'm a Florida State fan, and we're a dumpster fire right now. But I live here in Athens. I'm pretty well known as being here in UGA, so you have to be down with the dogs a little bit.
Right.
And so to me, I think as far as the QB situation, the UGA fans just talking about how they wanted a new offense this upcoming year, and they're about to get it because everybody besides Pickens and Trey Hill is basically gone.
Yeah,
and now they're about to go to the transfer portal QB, and it seems like they're all going for dual threats. It looks like so. When they turn that offense around from a coaching standpoint,
well, there's also been
it's going to be hard to recruit somebody.
Well, it's also been some speculation that UGA is going to change how they run their offensive line. They're going to come down in size just a little bit so they can make them a little more athletic, so that we can start opening up gaps and holes in the offensive line like we used to. So there's some speculation there, and you definitely need to have that if you're going to have you're definitely going to need to have that if you're going to have a running quarterback. So we'll see what's going to happen, but yeah. So all right, man.
In all of this, looking back to this last thing, out of all of this right now, what's going on, just Jake staying for one more year, do you think Kirby should have kept Justin Fields?
But here's the thing, man. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I think that Justin Fields made the right move to leave UGA. I think if he would have stayed at UGA, they would have stuck him in the same scheme that Jake Fromm is in, and he would have looked terrible. He just would have looked terrible, and that would have been a disservice to Justin Fields. The kind of talent that Justin Fields deserves a coach that knew how to handle that. So I think even if we would have kept Justin Fields, I don't think we would have been able to utilize him properly.
Well, thanks for picking up, Big Dog.
Yeah, man. Anytime, man. Feel free to call in. Appreciate it.
All right, bye.
Thanks, buddy. Bye. All right, guys. Somebody just tried to call in. Do me a favor, call back in, please. All right. Let's see here. All right. I'm going to try and call this number back. Let's see. Hey, this is Big Dog Brett. Can I get your name?
What's up, Big Dog? What's up? This is Cyrus Bowden.
I'm sorry, what was it again?
This is Cyrus Bowden.
What's up, Cyrus, man? How's it going, buddy?
Nothing. It's a tough day for UGA today, I heard the news about Cade and Fromm.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know, who do you think's more talented, DeJuan or Carson?
So there's been almost no tape that you can watch on DeJuan Mathis. Since the injury. But before that, I mean, the stuff that I saw before was incredible. He's also had a year or two. I mean, even though some of it's been in the medical tent, so to speak. Hey, what's going on with James Willoughby? He's been right there with the team. He's been practicing, so I would imagine that he's used to the speed at which college football moves.
Yeah, I also feel more comfortable with DeJuan because he knows the game plan and everything about the offense. But I hope they change it to a more of a kind of spread offense next year. But I do hope we run the ball like not as much as we did this year, but a little more. But I want more passing game involved since we got all these receivers coming in.
Well, we've definitely got a good recruiting base coming in, and we've got some outstanding tight ends. Eli Wolf. Plus, we just signed Darnell Washington. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of receiving targets there, and you need a guy who's got a quick, fast arm. And I would tend to believe that it's probably going to be up-tempo. It's probably going to be something that's very, very quick with some downfield throwing. And I think that, in just my opinion, I think DeJuan Mathis would probably be better suited for that out of the gate simply because he's already used to throwing to college-level receivers. Carson Beck is still used to throwing the high school receivers, so it's going to take him a year to get acclimated. But to me, I think DeJuan Mathis would probably be the better bet at this point if we don't end up with a graduate transfer from another school.
Yeah, that makes sense. Today when Cade went to Tennessee, I understand why he did it, but it still leaves a sour taste in my mouth that he's going to one of our rivals. But I wish him the best.
Well, I wish him the best too. And here's my thing: I just found out about the whole lawsuit thing, and since they filed the lawsuit on December 5th, and then he played in the bowl game. To me, that tells me that Kirby Smart doesn't really care about the off the field stuff. He cares about the on the field stuff. And if it were me, if I was Cade Mays and something like that happened, and he's probably getting a lot of pressure from his dad and other people stating that, hey, you may or may not be able to go pro. You need to take advantage of this situation and provide for your family. UGA has a lot of money. We'll sue them for $3 million. They'll probably cut us a check for $1.5 million, and then you got $1.5 million in your pocket. So, stay away from folding chairs. But
all right, one more question.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no problem.
All right, who do you think's the best receiver coming in this year?
Pickens.
No. I'm talking about recruit.
Oh, you're talking about out of the new recruits?
Yeah.
Who do I think is going to catch the most passes?
Who do you think is going to play the most in this freshman year?
Golly, man. If it were up to me and I had to pick a guy, I would say Justin Robinson.
Justin Robinson. Okay.
And
why would you pick Justin Robinson?
Because he's 6'4".
Yeah.
And the other receivers we picked up, they're all like 6 foot, 6'1", or almost 6'1", and which I love having those guys. But you got to understand that when you're going to be playing against teams like Clemson, that their cornerbacks are 6'3".
Yeah.
So you really want tall guys as receivers if you can. So to me, if I had to pick a guy, look at it this way. So you got a 6'4" brand new freshman wide receiver, and you put him in at whatever position you put him in. I mean, at whatever rotation you put him in. He's not a starter. Let's say it's your third quarter in a game, and you roll this guy on the field. He's 6'4". Hey, what's going on, Vernon, man? I really appreciate the super chat, sir. Thank you for the compliment as well. Vernon says, nice show, boss. I appreciate it, Vernon. Thank you so much, buddy. You roll this guy in on a rotation, and if they've got a cornerback who's 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", which is the standard size for most cornerbacks, it's like 6 foot, 6'1", and he goes out there and he doesn't really have to put on a little move. He's just able to go out there and basically big body this guy and jump up. And what normally would have been a 50-50 ball is now a 65-35 or a 70-30 ball. And he doesn't have to run like this amazingly long seam route or a go route or a wheel route. He can just go out there and basically do a little back shoulder fade or back shoulder catch, turn around and the ball's right there, a little 8-yard jump and catch. And that would give UGA one more tool that the defense has to prepare for. Because when you got a 6'4" guy that you've got to defend against, if you've got Pickens on one side of the field and you slap this guy in at the other side of the field, you've got to have a number 2 guy you've got to have a number 2 guy who's tall enough to compete with a 6'4", because you've got to put your number 1 guy on Pickens, because Pickens will eat you alive if you don't.
Yeah.
So you got to put your next best guy on this 6'4" monster on the other side of the field. And when that happens, you drop a guy in the slot who's a talented receiver, and you run a wheel route, and then there's no way that they can pull off of either one of the other guys, and you've got a ton of weapons downfield all of a sudden. So to me, if it's not Pickens, it's going to be a 6'4" receiver. That's just my opinion.
Okay. I guess we'll just have to wait till the spring game to see about the quarterbacks.
Yeah, you never know. I think that you got Zeus. Zeus is still, I think, recovering from that ACL surgery. He blew out his ACL, and then he blew out his other ACL, and he's going to recover from it. But it's just like Nick Chubb and Todd Gurley. It's going to take a year or two for him to get back to being himself. Sergeant AR says the WRs we recruited will need time to adjust, and he also says that Smith in the slot is money, and both of those are correct. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Zeus is going to kind of turn out like Chubb, to where Chubb wasn't the same that 1 year after the ACL, but that in his last senior year, he was a beast again.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I'm hoping that's what's going to happen with Zeus. Hoping he's going to be like that this year again, see his old self.
Well, I also think that it takes time not to just heal the physical part of your body. It takes time to heal the emotional part. And you've got that mental part, you've got to have experience putting pressure on that leg in a situation to where almost your brain almost takes over. And then you all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I just did that. Oh, I can do that again.
Yeah.
And so you have more confidence in making that turn or that push. So we'll see what happens.
I've heard people say that he in high school he was a lot like quickness or twitchier than he is now, but like they said he changed, like since the knee injury or whatever, he changed his running style to like a more heavier downfield runner.
I think that was I think that was more kind of directed to him rather than something he chose to do. The reason I say that is because if you go back and you look at UGA's tandem style, it's pretty much always been that we've got a bruiser and a speed guy. Zamir's body size and frame is just able to do the speed better, and Cook is obviously, because he's smaller, he's going to be more of the speed and the twitchy guy. So I think I won't say pushed him into that position, but coached him into that position because he's got the right frame for it. He's going to be a beast at that position.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, buddy, no problem. Have a good night. Thanks.
You too.
Yep. Bye-bye. So, yes, Sarah, I'll be doing a halftime and post game for LSU Clemson. No doubt about that. I'm definitely going to be watching that game, and I definitely want to see Clemson go to work, and I want to see LSU beat them doing it. I don't want it to be a blowout either way. I want it to be both teams playing their best, and then you can really see who the winner is. Yes, Kirby really is the guy for UGA. He is absolutely incredible. We love Kirby. Appreciate your service there, Sergeant. I was also in the Army. I do not envy you with the 2 knee surgeries. Zamir needs time. Knee pain is serious. People say it takes a year. I think it takes 2. Even inside of an elite program like UGA has, we've seen a ton of knee injuries. I think that it just takes time for those guys to heal. Is Fromm a prima donna? No. I believe it will be a close game, but I really think that it's going to end up gator tail. Of course you want to fire him. Once we get the offense situated, UGA is a dominant force. That defense is for real. Anybody that's played that defense will tell you it's for real. So yeah, Mad Stokes didn't go pro. He sucks. Man, you're crazy. You're crazy. Stokes is incredible. Well, guys, looks like we're running up on the hour here. Let's see, was there anything else I wanted to go over? We talked about transfers. We talked about national championship. We talked about recruiting. talked about Cade Mays, talked about Zach Evans, talked about Jake Fromm. What else? We talked about firing Kirby. Just all kind of fun stuff. So, yeah, UGA is a good spread offense away from winning the Natty. I think that's probably accurate. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it has been. It's been a lot of fun watching these teams this year. Obviously, my team didn't get to. You know what? From now on. You know what? I'm gonna make a coffee cup design, and it's gonna say "Beware the folding chairs." That's what it's gonna say. Beware the folding chairs. Oh man. Have I made my prediction yet? No, I have not. I have not made my prediction yet. I'm going to do a video on that. And that'll probably be a 15 or 20-minute video. That particular, there's so much information that goes into looking at those two teams. There's an eyeball test. There's a stats test. There's a strength of schedule test. This is a whole bunch of stuff. So I appreciate that, Real Sports. Thanks, sir. There's just a lot that goes into it. I want to try and continue to improve the channel. I'm thinking about changing the backdrop a little bit, giving you guys something a little nicer to look at. I'm also going to try and move some stuff over to the end. I'll let you guys know who I'm picking this week, and you guys will get a good breakdown from there, and you'll know for sure then. But one of the things I will point out is that I think Clemson is an underdog by the same amount that UGA was, or close to it. So it's pretty interesting. I think it's like 5 points or something. I think it was like 4 or 5 points for UGA. Any UGA basketball talk later this year in February or March. I'm not a big fan of basketball, but I gotta admit, like they've pulled a couple of upsets here recently, and it's kind of fun to watch them do it. When they went into the half versus Kentucky, I think they were up like 8 points or something, and it was like an 8-point swing in like the past 2 or 3 minutes. There are a lot of Alabama fans on this channel. There really are. There's Clemson. I've got Alabama fans, Clemson fans. There's a Notre Dame fan or two on here. There's a couple of Ohio State guys. There's a lot of Tennessee fans. I don't see as many LSU fans. Maybe they're over on TJ LSU Dad's page. I don't know. Yeah, Danita Green, how you doing? Or Donta Green. I apologize. I said your name wrong. Stray Dog says fire Kirby. I've had Brian Harrion has been on the channel. DeAndre Swift's been on the channel. Jake Fromm's been on the channel. Zamir White's been on the channel. I've had a bunch of people on the channel. So I need a fluorescent light and a Hawaiian hula girl in the backdrop. A UGA boom boom boom. That would be cool. We'll see what I can do. All right, guys. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. We're going to be doing a show. We're going to try and continue to do the Wednesday night shows. This show's got, I think, 60 or so in the stream, which is really good. Radiant Noah, man, it's always got an interesting point of view. I appreciate you guys jumping on. There is so much that I can just so many ways I can say thank you to you guys. You guys have been great to the channel. You guys have been great to me. I'm trying to get to 2,500 by the end of the season. I'm pretty confident we can do it. I think right now we're at about I'm at 2457. So we're getting there. Hopefully we can get it by the end of the season. I can only do it with you guys' help. When you hit like, subscribe, and share, that's really what helps the channel. So I just want to say thank you guys so much again. Stay tuned in. We're going to continue doing the channel on Wednesday nights, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. So thanks so much. You guys have a great day. Stay away from folded chairs. God bless. And guess what? Go Dogs. God bless. Go Dogs.